Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Many people here on YouTube, many of my subscribers are buzzing about this weekend's fight between Timothy Bradley and Ruslan Provodnikov. It's very rare to see the number of people interested in an analysis of a fight in which the favorite is a 7-1 favorite. Such is the case here, right? Many people feel that Provodnikov is a live underdog. Also understand that Provodnikov has sparred extensively with Manny Pacquiao, right, at the Wild Card Gym, and that Freddie Roach considers this fight to be a toss-up fight. I don't. I think Timothy Bradley wins this fight. I think this fight is a below-the-waist fight, right? Bradley simply moves too well, in my opinion, for Ruslan Provodnikov, who is a very heavy hitter with knockout power in both hands, right? He throws predominantly hooks. He's what I would call a mid-range hooker. On my channel page, I've posted an old video, granted it's old, against Provodnikov, right? It's Emmanuel Augustus, an interesting boxer with a mixed record who Floyd Mayweather, in interview after interview, has said gave him one of the hardest fights of his career. And he's fighting Provodnikov. The reason why that video is relevant to me is that we know that Bradley is going to move around the ring. We also know that Bradley has had success against very aggressive fighters. Look at his fight against Lamont Peterson, right? So Bradley's going to move around the ring, counter, throw flurries. Bradley's that rare fighter who can fight you from distance as well as fight you from up close. Keep in mind, too, a mid-range hooker is kind of like fighting a tornado, right? They're throwing hooks. The problem is when you're in hook range. But you can be outside that range. You can also be inside that range, right? You need a different set of punches where you can't, extend your arms to mid-range. Bradley can do both. In that Augustus fight, Augustus forces Provodnikov to come find him, right? Provodnikov has to move forward to try to catch up with Emmanuel Augustus. And it looks to me, as I like to say, as if Provodnikov is carrying around luggage. In other words, he has a stance. As he moves forward to catch up with a mobile fighter, he's just not quick enough to apply pressure on that mobile fighter, right? Now, I'm not that excited about this fight because I don't like the odds. I don't see the value in taking Timothy Bradley as a 7-1 favorite, right? And I think, quite frankly, that the odds of Provodnikov getting a knockout are very slim. Bradley has been down, but understand that that was against Kendall Holt, who I think is a tougher matchup than Ruslan Provodnikov. With Provodnikov, he's going to be throwing hooks at mid-range, right? So I'm not that excited about the fight. From a gambling perspective, I'm staying away from the fight because I don't see the value in the odds. In other words, I think the casinos have correctly priced this fight. As a boxing fan, I'm expecting Bradley to win, but I would hedge it against Provodnikov by KO. Provodnikov has punching power. Punchers always have a puncher's chance. But I'm expecting Provodnikov to get completely outmaneuvered in the ring. I'm expecting Bradley to successfully defend his title. Quite frankly, I think Freddie Roach has sour grapes over Bradley beating his prime fighter, Manny Pacquiao. A fight that I'm much more excited about A fight that I think actually has value for gamblers is this super middleweight championship match taking place in Europe between current champion Arthur Abraham and former champion Robert Stieglitz. Now understand that this fight is a rematch of a very spirited fight that took place in Arthur Abraham's adopted city of Berlin, right? And the fight was a lot closer than the 116-112 scores that two of the judges had. At the time, Stieglitz was the champion. Abraham had a career that was in jeopardy, right? Now, the two guys fought a spirited match. Stieglitz got cut over his left eye, and the cut bothered him. Stieglitz believes that this cut led to his demise in the fight. The fight went the distance, right? Even though Abraham is one of boxing's better punchers. But Stieglitz believes that that eye injury took him out of his game. Now, the rematch has some differences from the first fight. The first difference is the location. You need to know about it. The fight is no longer in Abraham's backyard. Believe it or not, it's in Stieglitz's backyard, right? The odds on this fight are now skewed. People apparently believing the first verdict now have made Stieglitz a 7-2 underdog. He's a 3.5-1 underdog. Understand too that Stieglitz throws the higher volume than Arthur Abraham. Abraham is the harder puncher, no question about it. Abraham has a great chin. Let's remember, he got his chin broken in the first fight against Edison Miranda and actually went the distance with Miranda with the broken chin, right? Abraham has never been knocked out. Abraham's also a much faster starter now than he was when he fought Jermaine Taylor, right? Nonetheless, Abraham throws wider punches than Stieglitz. Stieglitz has the higher volume. Quite frankly, in my opinion, and I know this is controversial, Stieglitz is the better athlete, right? I believe that Stieglitz, the 3.5-1 underdog, is a live underdog in this fight. Understand too, we might not be aware of this in the United States, but this is a huge fight in Europe. The first fight actually drew more people than the recent light heavyweight fight between Bernard Hopkins and Tavares Cloud. And people were impressed with that crowd. Understand, the first fight between these two drew about 14,000 people, right? This rematch is eagerly awaited, right? Arthur Abraham is not going to be able to keep up with the pace set by Stieglitz, who's almost certain to outwork him in front of his fans. Also, I believe the consensus is that the first fight was misscored. To put it in context, BoxingScene.com, one of my favorite sites, scored the first fight, and they had it a draw, 114-114, right? So, the bet I'm recommending here, and I view this fight as a much better betting play than the Bradley Provodnikov fight. The bet I'm recommending here is that we taste the long odds, that you take Stieglitz at 3.5-1. That's the bet I like, hedged against Arthur Abraham by KO. I get the feeling that if this fight goes the distance, unlike the first fight, I'm expecting Stieglitz to have his hand raised, right? But understand, with Abraham, you're dealing with the nuclear bomb. He only has to hit you once to take you out. You want to be hedged on the play, since you're getting 3.5-1 leverage on the Stieglitz side of the bet. you should be able to hedge this with Abraham by KO. Let me hear from you. Leave your comments for me here online. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com, and just keep in mind that I'm serious when I say please leave your comments. I was unaware that this Bradley Provodnikov fight had the kind of interest that it has, right? And so if there are other fights that you feel are high profile enough fights that have live underdogs that are mispriced by the casino, don't hesitate to list that fight in the comment section to this and other videos. Thanks for watching.